Yeah, and even though we're all musicians, remember, we didn't depend on any musician to lay the groundwork for what we would do as vocalists. To learn a song, to learn an arrangement of a song, to change the arrangement of the song, to perform the song. We never depended on any of that.
True.
And not only that, when you go into a studio and you do a session, a recording session, many times you have groups that come in and it takes 8, 10, 12 hours just to try to lay the foundation, vocally speaking, to do one song. But I know that we have gone into the studio and we have done recording sessions in 1 or 2 takes. And of course the engineer didn't appreciate that too much because he couldn't make as much money.
Get paid by the hour.
Right.
Yeah.
But we came in prepared before we came in. We executed and then we left. And everything was just the way it needed to be. You don't find that type of dedication today. You don't find that kind of commitment from groups today. In fact, we live in such a high technical society. Everything is technology. Many musicians don't sit down and practice their instruments when all they have to do is go to a computer, flip a switch, press a button, and boom, you have instant music.
Buy the card, put it in the card, format it, hit the switch, and away you go.
And it also tells very clearly in the fact that many times you have groups, a lot of groups today, and I hear, groups being compared to the Temptations, and I hear groups, female vocalists being compared to, Diana Ross and Aretha Franklin and these kinds of things. But what you don't hear is that many times when people spend big money and go to these concerts, these groups, when they sing, the music is low enough so that the audience can actually hear the singing, the people are angry, they feel cheated, they want their money back because they are not getting what they paid for. What they paid for is what they heard on a CD or on a cassette. But what they're hearing live is nowhere near what they have heard in the studio simply because of the technology involved. You've got an engineer or a source of engineers who are so educated and so skilled in their craft that they can take all of the sour notes and make it right, and take all of the cracks in the voices and go over it and do all kind of cosmetics on these different groups, and that you just cannot hide when they do it live.
Right, because it's under the eye of the public, and the eye of the public is just like being under a microscope. Do you remember, you and Donald remember, after Ma Barker's gang broke up, and Donald and I started working with Jimmy Hearns, who was a drummer, but Jimmy was also a writer, and that's when our writing really took serious shape, and we became known as Garcia, Ashford, and Hearns. And Reese, you were working with us along with one of the guys that used to play in one of your groups, The Explosion, John, that played trumpet. What was John's last name?
John Miles. John Miles III.
Okay. What did you get from those days of Garcia, Ashford, and Hearns, Donald?
A little bit more expertise in the production of records and engineering and things along that line.
Remember you built a PA system for us during the days of Ma Barker's gang that we managed to hold on to all the way to the late 80s, even through Garcia, Ashford, and Hearns. It was really inspirational to see your expertise blossom. One of the things I wanted to point out to the viewing audience, too, that you played with Robert Lowe in a group when we were in high school called what was the name of the group? The Soulful Six. Right. Wasn't Thomas Postel in that group too?
Yes, he is.
And Isaac Callen played drums?
Correct.
Okay. Because, when Bobby and I did his showcase last year, he was trying to remember. He's done so many things since then, but he remembered almost everybody who was in that group. And 2 other people I wanted to mention that sang with us when we were in high school that were very influential that's no longer around is the late Kenny Poole, who was very close to us, and Tyrone Phillips. And the Creator knows only how many more we've lost in that interim. But we're very grateful to everyone that has input into our lives and that we've learned things from and shared experiences with, because this helped us to become who we are. What we're getting ready to do now is we're going to perform several songs for you, and we want to give the viewing audience the benefit of our expertise and our professional experience. So we've been talking with Dennis Maurice, Reese Moji Garcia, Donald Victor Ashford, and I, of course, am Francisco Frank Garcia Segundo, and we'll be back shortly after this important message. Stay with us.